I foster care because I want to make a difference and an impact on children. I've been doing it for nearly 30 years and it's been the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. The children, they are a challenge, but each one is different and each one makes you a better person because you learn from them as you teach them. And that's the aspect I really enjoy, is seeing a positive outcome for them. The highs are 10 years after I'd had a child who was quite problematic. I got a knock on the door and a big box of chocolates and a bunch of flowers, and he said, "I'm sorry for what I put you through and thank you for putting up with me." And he'd made something of himself. He'd got a professional job, a family, and isn't that what it's all about? That's the perfect outcome. Foster caring in the morning and the day for us is very different. Each child is different. The breakfast routine is usually pretty ugly because most of them haven't had balanced diets, so they're used to eating whatever they want for breakfast or whatever they can ravage out of the pantry. So it's getting them into a routine in the morning is hard. But make sure you do it the night before, set everything up to help you with all their lunches, get the breakfast stuff out ready, school uniforms on the bed, school bags packed. Then at least you have the time to spend with them. They're off to school, you get them to school and they come home, to try and do homework is quite a challenge with some of them. Then dinner time, most of the kids have never eaten vegetables. Don't panic, think outside the box. You can do a meat pie which they'll eat, puree some veggies, shove them in, and don't make it your 10 out of 10 because at the end of the day they'll get there. I love to foster and I've been fostering for 30 years. An example, I had a little baby who I got guardianship of, who is now not such a baby, she's 22. She's still with me. I have the most beautiful granddaughter, a grandson on the way. She has a lovely partner and I don't think you can have a much better compliment. I've had lots of highlights over my career and they're not all the long-term children. You can make a difference in a few weeks. I had a little boy who was 7 and he was a complete rascal. No one could handle him. And we only had him 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks we got him into a routine and he went on to another carer who kept in touch, and we told her how we worked with him, which was great that she was so open to it. And he had a positive placement and went on to achieve. And you focus on those positives. Not every placement's going to be a success. Don't be afraid to say that this one doesn't fit in because they have to fit in with all your kids. But if you always focus on the positive, you'll have positive outcomes. My support worker from Churches of Christ is paramount to me being able to do this. She goes above and beyond and they're very approachable. Team leader is brilliant too. If someone's thinking of becoming a foster carer, you have to be sure that this is right for you because it changes everything, your dynamics, how your children are going to fit in with them, what you're expecting to gain out of it, because it isn't pseudo-adoption. It's a child that might only be with you for a week, a month, a couple of years, and then they could be returned to family. And the end goal in any fostering is to reunite them with their family, and that must be upfront and encouraged wherever possible. I do connect with other foster carers, and yes, it is valuable. They're very good because they understand you, they get you, and it's great because you can vent to them and they know where you're coming from. And yes, and they've always got some advice, like you learn all the time, you never know everything. And if you've got some really good carer friends, they might say, "Well, have you tried this, have you tried that?" And yeah, it's great. But if you want a rewarding outcome and you want to do something special at home in Australia for our kids, then fostering is great. When I first started fostering, I made the mistake, no one sort of told me what to do or what to expect. So, I went over the top. I had toys galore and bought things for them and bought them rotten, and sort of was pretty, knew I only had them for a couple of weeks, so didn't worry too much about rules and everything. And I was so glad to just see them happy and smiling. But at the end of the 2 weeks when they said, "Oh good, Mummy puts us with carers every holiday because we get new toys and things," I sort of put it back in perspective. And yeah, but when kids come into care, the first thing is to have a cuddly toy, the little ones. Don't overwhelm them. They come to you when they're ready for a cuddle and a hug. Or if you see them sad, you say, "Do you want a hug or a kiss?" And kids settle much quicker if you give them space and time. keep your focus on the children. That's why we're doing it. That's what we want to do. We want a positive outcome for them. Try and go with the flow. There are lots of politics involved. Try not to let it get too involved with your life and your children, because the end result is the kids. It's not who likes you and who doesn't. Just do a great job with the kids.